Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Eirelynbird, and today we are reading Murder in the Family by Kara Hunter. Today we are solving this together, hence the corkboard. I am going to read, highlight, tab, anything that I find suspicious. It literally says, one body, 6 experts. Can you solve the case before they do? And that is what we are doing today. So there will be spoilers, is all I can really say, because we're gonna solve this mystery. Let's read the back, shall we? Because I haven't read the back. In December 2003, Luke Ryder, the stepfather of acclaimed filmmaker Guy Howard, was found dead in the garden of their suburban family home. Guy was an only child, asleep upstairs at the time of the murder. His mother and 2 half-sisters were also in the house that night, but they all swear that they saw nothing. Despite a high-profile police investigation and endless media attention, no suspect was ever charged, and Guy's family has been haunted ever since. 20 years later, the sensational new streaming series Infamous is dedicated to investigating and perhaps cracking the famous cold case. The production team will re-examine testimony, re-interview witnesses, and once again scour the evidence. The family will speak, the key players will be reunited on the camera, and the truth will come out. Are you ready to see it? So, we're gonna solve this before the experts can. This corkboard will be filled with people that I find suspect. This will be filled with the evidence of the murder, and we will all be connecting it with some red string. Not the bunch of other colored ones, specifically the top red one. Let's solve this murder. We have the first of the suspects. I've only read 50 pages and I have so many thoughts, so let's go through them. So, these are our suspects currently, and I think the only ones that are going to be there. We have Guy Howard, Mara Howard, Amelia Howard, Caroline Howard, and Rupert Howard. I think Caroline, who is the mom, would be too, obvious. I physically just do not think the author would do that because it's such a cliche thing to be like, oh, the wife did it, you know? So, at the moment, not suspicious of her in the slightest. Guy Howard, he is the youngest son, and he is the one that is running the show. A lot of information happened, but he could be upset that somebody is replacing his dad. That person, Luke Ryder, he's dead. I hope I don't think you can see this, but it's fine. I think, because Guy's dad died a year ago. Not even, maybe a year ago. So he could be like, somebody's already replacing my dad. So, but the only reason why I don't think that is because he was 10 years old, and the way that Luke died was blunt force trauma. I don't think a 10-year-old could blunt force trauma a grown man. So that's my main thing. But he specifically said in the interview, I hope we catch the guy and put him away. Puts him away. Who is him and why him, not them? Why didn't say I hope we catch them and put them away. He specifically said puts him away. So either that was a slip up on his part, admitting that he knows it's a guy who killed Luke, and he's trying to maybe frame it on Rupert, which is his step brother from his dad's first marriage. Okay? So that my current suspect is Rupert, because there's so much stuff. Luke only knows Caroline because of Rupert, because he brought him to New Year's Eve party, right? So he's upset that Caroline stole his friend from him like she stole his dad after his mom died. Because his mom died when he was 6, and then his dad got remarried to Caroline a few months later. So and it's very known from the way Rupert talks that he does not like Caroline, and he never has. So is he the him, right? But I think his thought process could be, if I can't have him, then nobody can. And that's why he killed Luke. And then was also a suspicious conversation between Mara Howard and Amelia Howard. They are the girls who found Luke, the teen daughters who found Luke dead. Okay? Are you following this? They found Luke dead. They called the police. They found him. Mara said to Amelia in text that she'll make sure nothing bad happens. What does that mean? So, I don't know motive-wise, physically what motive they would have, unless Luke was, hurting them in some way, where, they needed to defend themselves, because 13, 16-year-old girls could probably have the strength to blunt force trauma a man who wasn't expecting to be blunt force traumatized. But he was blunt force traumatized in the face, so he saw his killer. So that's the other thing. So if they came home early from the movies, and like made this plan. Also, my red string currently is connected very weirdly. But that's where I'm at. And I know there's going to be so much more. I'm going to have have like an evidence column. Evidence is just going to be all over the place. But this is currently where I'm at. I feel like it looks a little crazy though. I get my thoughts. But Amelia doesn't want to participate in the show at all. And that could just be traumatization. Because it's too convenient that he's just asleep during all this. And I get that he's 10. I get that he's 10. But also then why do a show if you aren't trying to like pin it back on somebody? And the only other him here is Rupert. So why do you want to put him away? And the only other thing that could lead to Caroline that I didn't write because I still feel like that'd be too cliche, is that the timing of the events, because it rained that night, but underneath his body the concrete was dry, so he had to be killed before the rain started. So I might need to write the timeline. I got a busy night ahead of me, so I don't think I'm going to be reading anymore today, but I'm glad I started this. I just realized something, and I gotta get my blanket back on, that I think changes how I'm going to be looking at the book. Because I read something wrong. So at the very beginning of the book, it says, the closing sequence of last night's final episode proved that what we'd been watching all these weeks was in fact a very modern reprise of the time-honored and then there were none scenario, first created by Agatha Christie and reinvented by every new generation of crime novelists since, most notably by the great P.D. James, but also more recently, a small group of strangers cut off from the outside world who begin to turn on one another in the face of the horrifying realization that there is a killer among them hiding in plain sight. So it proved last night. And no, of course, I'm not going to tell you who. Let's just say I won't be the only member of the audience who's probably rewatching the series to see how I could have possibly missed it. So, here's the thing. At the moment, we do not have any of the family members cornered off together. Like, nobody in the family is stuck in a room with each other. The only people stuck in a room with each other are the 6 experts. So does that mean all of the experts are up for suspicion? Because then I'm looking at Alan Canning first because he called Peter, which was the lead investigator, originally for the case. Because that doesn't, like, from that news clipping, it doesn't seem like a small group of strangers. If you're family, you're not strangers. All of these detectives are strangers. I'm gonna have such a bigger suspect list now. Oh my god. It would have to be Guy then. It would have to be Guy. Because if it's but he was 10. Some things have been added, and more string is about. So, new suspect, Mitchell Clark, is one of the journalists. I have him at the very bottom just because don't know if he's actually really involved, like, his story is believable as to like why he was there. So, but still want to keep him there. I've added another thing to Mara and Amelia. I haven't tied anything to Amelia because it's mainly Mara's the only one we've actually heard stuff from. But she, in another text conversation with Amelia, said she has everything under control. So what is Amelia nervous about? Like, Amelia is very much nervous about something, so I think she is hiding something, but at the moment it's only really connected back to Mara. I've added an evidence column. Caroline gave Guy the same watch she gave Luke. The only reason I think that could be evidence is because it could link back to, like, a thank you, almost. Like, say, Guy killed Luke for Caroline. I don't know. And I added more motive to Rupert. Rupert is my biggest suspect at the moment, even if they clear his name, because they're about to go through Caroline and Rupert for, like, what's going on. Another motive is Luke would take Rupert's inheritance if Caroline died. Like, because he would be the next in line because they're spouses, right? So, like, Rupert hasn't gotten any inheritance from any of his family's death. He doesn't even live at the house. So that could piss him off. And Luke got a 2-minute phone call from King's Cross in London. Rupert claims that he was in London. Just saying. So that's really all I have right now. So the stringing might change because I might need to, like, lead things in different directions if things start to connect more. But at the moment I have Guy slip up as put him away, still connected to Rupert. Because, say, if Guy has suspected it to be Rupert his entire life, he's gonna say him. And that's the only other him that I can connect to because I don't think Guy would know about Mitchell. So, that's where I'm at. I realized an error. Rupert insists that he wasn't in London, so a bit of my evidence goes out the window there. We have some new evidence, people. Firstly, Luke is not Luke. Somebody stole Luke's identity after real Luke died in a bombing. So, who is this man? Rupert is known to be on a phone call saying something's going wrong with DP, which the friend thought stood for, like, the name of the house and whatnot. I don't know what it is. But I think it could be the name of the mystery man. Down here I wrote, killer found out that Luke wasn't Luke. That's why he was killed. Fake Luke wanted to steal money. Someone didn't want that. That's just a theory. That's why it's just kind of down here. Nothing's really continued with Mitchell. Oh, I also didn't write it down. More weird stuff with the sisters. Because Mara brought up that she told about Caroline having an affair on Luke. And she was like, I got your back. That's what big sisters are for. I've always protected you. What is that about? What is that? Like, did Amelia find out that Luke wasn't Luke? I still feel like it's something to do with Guy. Guys, I'm nowhere. I'm literally nowhere. I have no idea. We have information. Things are getting wild. So let's start over here. We find out that Luke Ryder is actually Eric Fluton, but we find out that Eric isn't Eric. So there's two identities that have been stolen on here, okay? So my running theory at the moment, which kind of messes up with all my other theories, is that, let's see if I can read this. If Luke Eric is used to taking identities and running from the cops, what is saying that Luke Eric, dead Luke Eric, is actually Luke Eric, right? Like, the dead guy, who everybody presumed was Luke Ryder, had his face bashed in. How are you able to identify that it was still him if his face was bashed in? I'm thinking somebody killed another guy and then took that guy's identity and pretended that Luke Ryder died. Because if that's his theme, if that's the thing that he continues to do, what's saying that he's not alive? Which leads me to Bill. He's just downright suspicious. I don't trust Bill. And going off of a thing in the beginning of being like, you're in a room with people and you realize that one of you is the killer. I think it's Bill. Bill is running the show. He's orchestrating stuff. He's the one that found out about Eric Fluton. He can send them in any direction that he wants, okay? Now, with Mara and Amelia, we got more texts. They had therapy because something happened at the school, which was revealed to be that Amelia set a fire, and now they want to start spilling Guy's stuff, like Guy's secrets, because he's not all innocent, which leads me to still being like, it could still be Guy, right? And then Lila has the same last name, like her old last name, right down here, before she married and her last name became Furness. Her last name matches the last name of the guy that real Luke had a hit and run from, which led him to flee the country. And then my only other thing that I'm like, maybe, is fake Luke, Eric man. So confusing. Fake Luke Eric took Rupert's identity, and Rupert is the identity thief man. And that's why he doesn't understand certain things, or like certain phrases or sayings. Like, he doesn't know what DP stands for when it was brought up. So that's where I'm at. And I think it's going to be revealed that the person that died wasn't even actually the guy that was stealing identities, but was a completely different guy, which could be Peter, the lead investigator. But because he was investigating people so close to the case, I think they'd be able to recognize that it was Luke, right? But I don't know. So this is where we're at now. This is what we've got. It's a little confusing. Owie. Gotta keep reading to figure this out, but I think it's gonna be another switcheroo. Because I'm trying to figure out, like, the age that he would have to be. Because we don't know anything about the identity thief at all. We thought we did, but we don't. I think I figured it out. Okay. When Luke, he reconnected with his grandma, and then another family, half family people came into the park. Ian Wilson. I think dead Luke Eric is actually Ian Wilson, and he took the identity. That doesn't make sense, though, because the only part about that doesn't make sense is that Luke Eric was already a shoo-in for getting the will money from Luke's grandma. So that's the only part of it that isn't there, but I'm gonna add it to the line of ideas and thoughts. So I've got my line of Luke Ericness. Okay, people, we got some stuff, okay? So, firstly, secret child. Caroline had a secret child. I put Alan Canning on here now, which is another one of the detective guys, and I tied him to Ian Wilson because he kind of seems like he wants them to stop digging in that direction, and I don't understand why. Also, is the guy from the hotel that was Ian actually Luke Eric? Like, making a fake alibi for himself to run away as Ian, okay? I still want to know who made the King's Cross phone call. Other thought, secret child, is that what DP stands for? Is the secret child DP? This is, like, I don't know. I still think the actual person that's dead isn't actually the con man. He reconned again. Like, he did another con and stole somebody else's identity, but, like, killed them and made them look like it was Luke, right? Or the identity he stole. Now we gotta figure out who this secret child is. I think the ages, like, this secret child would have to be between Rupert and Mara. And whether that child was clearly put up for adoption, right? We gotta figure out who that child is. And the age that they'd be. Because that could determine some things. This looks so confusing. This is like my thoughts. Like, what is this? What is this? Okay, gotta keep reading to figure it out. I am suspecting every single person right now. JJ, at the beginning of the book, said that he will not be telling anybody what JJ stands for. Why would you do that unless you knew that at some point it could be uncovered that Caroline had a child when she was young, and they would be 44 now? How old is JJ? Let me go back and see if they say anything about him in his thing. Like, does he say age or anything? He's worked in the field for over 20 years. All it says is he's worked in the field for over 20 years. And 20 years ago, could it be JJ? I am suspecting everybody now. Oh, boy. It would feel nice if, like, I guessed it off the get-go if it was Guy. Like, that did the killing, but that doesn't seem plausible now. With how many people are... I don't really think I need to add anything to the board at the moment. Bill was working on the Eric Fulton case. So that's how he knew so much about them being connected with, like, Luke and whatnot. Bill found out that Alan's sister was with Luke and then that her bank account was run dry, and he said, you're asking if I had any reason to hunt that man down, if I had a reason to loathe the very sight of him. The answer is yes, I did. So Alan's now suspect. All of them are suspects. I think it's JJ, if it's going to be anybody out of them, out of that group. JJ would put, like, if I'm going with my theory that he faked a death again as another person, because it wouldn't put it past him at that point, I would say it was JJ because, like, the idea, it's gonna come back to the phone call at King's Cross. I have a feeling. And we found out the name is, Jonah McKenna, and his current name is JJ Norton. If your full name, like, you wouldn't want people to know that if you decide to go back to your real identity, maybe? I don't know. And there's stuff in his, like, bio thing about having such a high IQ. Black belt in Taekwondo, once had a pet tarantula, flirted with the idea of becoming a priest before settling into forensics. Oh my god, it's JJ. I've attended 3 people struck by lightning and 1 half eaten by a killer whale. There's stuff in the past of the Jonah guy about his favorite story from the Bible being about a whale or something and liking whale shirts. Why would you include that? Like, you're giving little things about yourself. He went to church with his family, flirted with the idea of becoming a priest before settling into forensics. If it is not JJ, those are such random things to have. And he's a forensic investigator. He would know how to clean up things, and he'd know how to send them in different directions to not look at. Oh, I don't know if I said another thing about JJ. He seemed to know a lot about the adoption system and what we know about the secret. We don't know a lot about the secret child, but he oddly seemed like he easily segued away from that and put the focus on Jonah's, like, the guy's real identity. So it could be that he's the secret child, because age-wise could match up. And another thing, looking back at JJ's profile, he knows stuff in digital forensics. He would know how to hide stuff about a phone call, and it hasn't been brought back up. So he's clearly steered it away if it is him. Okay, so Nick set it up. Nick, the producer, once Alan and Bill reached out about having connections in the case, was like, if we can find 4 other people that have potential connections or real connections, it would make a good show, because one of them could turn up being like the killer or something. So I was right with the first thing being like, it's the 6 of them who are the suspects. I still, a little tiny bit of me still feels like it's Guy. Just a little tiny bit, because Nick reached out to Guy and Guy was like, yeah, absolutely, I'll do it. Sneaky, sneaky. So my bet is on JJ though. Like, if it is one of the 6, it's JJ. I don't think it could be Hugo. I don't think it could be Mitchell. Lila doesn't make sense. JJ would make the most sense. But yeah, Nick set it all up. But Guy is just so mad about it, and I don't know if it's because he's like, they're on to me, or something. Mitchell just said, I've never spoken to him, and in any case, the state of the body, you wouldn't have recognized who it was. No one would. I swear there's a switcheroo. Like, I swear. And then Mitch even said, because it's revealed that Mitch was sleeping with Mara, he got a butt dial. Not really, to be honest. It was more like heavy breathing, moaning almost. I tried to talk to her, but she obviously couldn't hear me. Was she sleeping with somebody else? There's like barely any pages left. Like, they're currently bringing up the angle of if Luke was abusing Mara and potentially Amelia. They have brought up Amelia, and that's the only motive I could see for them killing Luke. But that just didn't seem believable at the time because it wasn't brought up at any other time. But now it's being brought up. Guy looks pissed about it. So I almost wonder if Guy knew when he was 10 what was happening to his sisters, and he was like, I have the chance to do this, and he was already upset that he didn't get to watch his TV program. I'm not done. There's still another episode. But Mara just admitted to Amelia being the one to kill Luke. But it says she didn't really say anything, just that she was going to check up on Guy. Going to go up and check on Guy. That's when I knew she had done it. But why would she go check up on Guy? How do we know that it was her item of clothing that she was cleaning and not Guy's? I don't know. I still think it's Guy. Like, that just doesn't feel correct to me. Like, because this whole time she's been upset at Guy for exploiting it, but almost not in a way of being like, I did it, you know? More in a way of being like, you stupid dumbass, you're the one who killed him. What are you doing? I was right. He couldn't have been more than 10, just standing there like a fucking zombie or something with the bloody thing in his hand. He was like something out of a Omen. Scared the living crap out of me, if you really want to know. You didn't go back? You didn't try to talk to him? Are you kidding me? I got the hell out of there, and I never looked back. I knew it! I called it from the start. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so happy that I was right from the start. Holy shit. I called it the second that he said that. Like, he literally said, and because my family has lived with this thing hanging over our heads for almost 2 decades, and until someone finds out who did it and puts him away, none of us will ever have any peace again. That is what Guy said on page 21, and I called it. I'm so proud of myself right now. The writer, because it, like, cuts back in the show to him saying his first sentence and being like, and because my family has lived with this thing hanging over our head for almost 2 decades, and until someone finds out who did it and puts him away, none of us will ever be at peace. Because he's blocked it out of his brain, because they think what happened is the way he saw his dad have a heart attack and like fall, he was like, oh, this is the same thing, and went into a dissociative state. And there's a little bit more episode stuff. Oh my gosh, I'm at the, oh wow. But I cannot believe that I called it. Like somewhere in his deep rooted mind, he knew it was him. Even if like he didn't. Holy cow. Like if we look at this murder board, I connected it. I fully connected it. Did I think that the him could have been Rupert? Yes. And even like using someone, upset someone who's replacing his dad. Like that was kind of a play at it too. I can't believe that I call it. I am so proud of myself right now. And I technically solved it before them. Because I called it. I knew it. I knew it. I'm so proud of myself. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I guess that's the end. I read this book within 3 days. It is a great read if you want to read it. Though I just kind of gave you all the answers. But yeah, I'm so proud of myself. If you have any other ideas for what I can use this corkboard for, let me know, because that would be great. I'd love to know. So, see ya. Subscribe. Bye.